Hello guys, today I wanted to make a video about YouTube Shorts that I've seen a couple of days ago. It's from Jett Franzen. And basically, in the video, the theory was, the video itself is called The Art of Larping, I guess, right? And the theory is that believing to be someone you are not will eventually turn you into that someone, or you will eventually become the someone that you're actually LARPing as, right? So basically fake it till you make it, right? And I can see the mental and spiritual aspects behind it, right? You have a positive feedback loop, you present yourself differently, others recognize you differently, you get another insight of how things work because other people see you differently and shit. And I get this shit, right? But he's just basically explaining survivorship bias. And what survivorship bias is, I got a quick summary here from ChatGPT. A famous example of survivorship bias comes from World War II. The military analyzed returning aircrafts and noticed that certain areas of the plane had many bullet holes. At first, they considered reinforcing those heavily damaged areas. However, someone pointed out that this data only included planes that survived and made it back. The aircrafts that were shot down were missing from the analysis. Therefore, for the areas with fewer bullet holes or even none, on returning planes were actually the most critical because planes hit there often did not survive to come back. This example demonstrates survivorship bias. Focusing only on successful outcomes can lead to an incorrect conclusion because the failures are not represented in the data. And why am I recitating that? So basically, Jett Franzen said fake it till you make it, right? But there is no proof or no evidence that fake it till you make it will work. But however, of course, because everyone at the top thinks of themselves as they did the most that they could, right? The theory holds because everyone at the top believes in themselves. If they wouldn't believe in themselves, of course they wouldn't be in the top. But he's missing the critical point that there are theoretically many more people that did the exact same thing or even more than the people at the top, but never had a fighting chance or never had a fair chance or never had the opportunities or were born in a fucking poor area or some shit like that. So basically the circumstances of some people influenced their outcome, and in the end you're left with survivorship bias. So for every one person you hear that, yeah, man, I only believed in myself, I did what I had to do, and I'm just working so hard, whatever, there are at least 1,000 people that did the exact same thing or even more that didn't succeed. So someone at the top telling everyone else at the bottom that, yeah bro, you just have to believe more, it's just the lulu because it just doesn't work. It's not concrete evidence, it's not scientifically proven. And like I said, I get the mentally and spiritual aspect of it and the mindset change and all, but it is still a false claim, right? There's only this much space at the top basically, and only the surviving people in the end can tell the story. But you're missing all of the other people who end up losing that race, right? I got some couple of examples that maybe can like help you to visualize what I'm saying, right? So first, let's just say you're a businessman and you pitch your idea in front of a bank. And your bank actually grants you money so you can start your business, right? So you actually did all of the work, you presented yourself correctly, you got what you wanted, even a bank is behind you, but still your business still has the option to fail. But you won't hear from this guy, right? And don't come at me with, but if you believe hard enough, it will work. Bro, if you're already this far that the bank grants you your loan, right? You obviously worked hard enough because the bank doesn't give out loans that easy, right? But still you can fail. This is like, for example, or if you build your own business, wouldn't you put your heart into it? It's your own money, it's your own or your last chance or maybe your only big chance to make it big. Why the fuck would you do it half-heartedly? It makes no fucking sense. Of course, anyone who starts a business will eventually work at least 60, 70, 80 hours a week. What is humanly possible, basically? The same thing is like, let's just say you're an upcoming artist, which you just not take every opportunity you could get? Would you not give 100%? Would you not give your best? Would you not sit down and mix and record 10 million times? Most people would, most people do. Most people, if they see themselves in music, will give 100%. The same with when somebody sees himself in a business, they will give 100%, if in their own business especially. Of course, some people don't give 100%, but these are people who work for other people. If someone works for themselves, and I've always seen that, they give at least 100%, if not even more. Why would you give 100%, bro? If you have this opportunity. The problem is that most people give 100%. No, most people don't do half-heartedly stuff, and they still lose and don't achieve something, even though they gave 100%. And like I said, most people give 100%. Look, you care for your family at a maximum of 100%. You care for your like future, maximum of 100%. You work on yourself, maximum of 100%. Surely there are people who don't give 100%, but there are also a couple of people or a lot of people that give 100% or even 180% and still end up failing. And you don't see these people. So like I said, imagine you're just an artist and you got your opportunity, or just let's just say you're just a young artist, you live for the music. Do you really think that you wouldn't give 100% if you had some kind of opportunity or some like pathway or some vision? Man, I did music for fun and I did it 100%. I was just tweaking the fucking knobs at least 10 hours a song just to make it perfect, right? So most people give 100%. The problem is that most people give 100%, but it's only limited space at the top, and there's only like a limited amount of people that get to experience what this top 1% of people get to experience. But basically, you're just like you're gaslighting your audience basically into thinking that they don't try enough. Meanwhile, there are also the exact opposites. Look at Jaden Smith, for example, right? Because I just saw some fucking picture of him yesterday. He didn't give 1% and still has a kind of successful career because of his nepotism and shit. And there are also like people who have like 50 or give only 50 or 80% and still end up successful. And there are people who give 200% and still have no chance and going to the top, right? A good example is for example Billie Eilish, which is like in between. I don't like Billie Eilish, but she has a good voice, I can say, but she still didn't give 100% because she's also a nepo baby, because her brother or her father is working into music and her brother is mixing her tracks and shit. So she basically also didn't give 100% because she was just singing. She wasn't mixing it, she didn't do enough, or she didn't do the music theory behind it, she didn't do the marketing and shit like that, so she basically get less than 100% but still got more outcome than people who gave 200%. So, and basically, I believe that a positive view and a fake it till you make it attitude will work to a certain degree because your mental state will change and your appearance and how you present yourself, right? But it is not guaranteed that you will become successful in the end. So basically, why his video fucking angered me a bit was he was gaslighting his audience into believing, bro, if you just believe hard enough into something, it eventually will happen. And for 99.9% of the people, it won't. And these 99.9% of people are watching his videos, seeing this video and thinking, oh man, I'm still not working hard enough, even though they give 10 times more than anyone else. I don't like the way this video was presented. I don't like the video itself because it's basically gaslighting his audience. It's basically survivorship bias, but without him realizing it is. And it just creates like this illusion that everything is into your hands, which is not. I would say you can direct your life a lot, right? With some decisions that you can make. Yeah, should I take drugs? Should I not take drugs? Should I go study? Should I not go study? Should I try this? Should I try? Yeah, you can basically direct your life, but in the end, most of the paths already walked on, right? It's like a river. The river never flows straight. It flows to in his little alcoves, left, right, up, down, whatever, however it fits. So in both cases, the water will flow with the surroundings. So basically, there are like determined barriers on boundaries that you cannot penetrate if you're bound or destined to be in that boundary. And he is like he's basically on the opposite side of spectrum, saying like, yeah, if the river just wants it enough, he can just go straight up, right? Straight through every hill, which I don't believe in. And this video, like I said, was not scientifically proven. It was not even like logical. It was just like survivorship bias and wishful thinking. That's why I felt like I had to do this video, right? So thank you for watching.